Starts and sits for your fantasy championship right now on FFT Express. Adam Azer and Heath Cummings on Thursday morning, still morning. Heath, we got a Thursday night game. Ken Walker has been ruled out. Zach Charbonnet is what?
A must-start running back. In a full PPR league, there are only 3 running backs I would start over him. Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane.
Okay. And let's go to the games that we just talked about on our longer show. Start with 3 Saturday games. We got Denver at Cincinnati. Who are we starting in this game?
Start your Bengals. Burrow, Brown, Higgins, Chase. Start them all. I'm more concerned about the Broncos. Cortland Sutton's a number 2 wide receiver for me. Javante's my favorite Broncos running back, but he's right around RB30. Bo Nix is a borderline QB1, but I would call him more of a QB2.
All right, next game is the Chargers and the Patriots.
I would start Ladd McConkey in a 3 wide receiver league, or probably in a 2 wide receiver league if you need a flex. He's right around wide receiver 30. Gus is also a flex unless Dobbins come back, in which case Dobbins would be a borderline number 2 running back. Ramondre is a high-end flex or a low-end number 2. Gibson's a flex. Start Hunter Henry.
All right, how about the Cardinals and the Rams Saturday night?
I am starting Kyler Murray. I am starting Trey McBride. If James Conner plays, I'll start him. If Conner's out and Trey Benson plays, and he's a low-end number 2, if both of them are out, then Michael Carter's a decent flex. You obviously start Puka Nacua. You obviously start Kyron Williams. I would like to get away from Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, but Kupp's a number 3 in full PPR leagues.
And why the, mild faith in Kyler Murray?
It's more, and I put these 3 quarterbacks in the same group. It's Kyler, it's Caleb, and it's Anthony Richardson, and all of them have the ability to score 30 fantasy points at any given time. Kyler did that against the Rams earlier this season. Yeah. I have a hard time sitting a guy like that, but there's a low floor.
He's had a tough schedule this year, but a couple of easy matchups lately. It hasn't capitalized, but I do think, you mentioned that was one of the games, the Rams game, one of the only good matchups he's had. It was earlier this season, and he had a huge game. So here they are again. The Jets are at the Bills. Who are we starting in this game?
So obviously you start Josh Allen. James Cook is a number 2 running back that hopefully you can start. I have to sit him in one spot. It makes me kind of sad. You can start Breece Hall as a number 2. Devontae Adams is a must-start wide receiver. Garrett Wilson just barely over Khalil Shakir as a number 3 wide receiver. Dalton Kincaid is the best tight end in this game, but there's not a top 15 tight end in this game.
All right, let's go to the Colts and the Giants. And what are we thinking about this game here? Actually, some kind of interesting calls in this game.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's in that Kyler Murray group. I have him behind Kyler, but he's a borderline top 12 QB. I'm starting Jonathan Taylor. I'm starting Tyrone Tracy if he plays. Singletary is more of a low-end number 2 running back if Tracy's out. I'm starting Malik Neighbors. Josh Downs is my favorite Colts wide receiver. He's a number 3 wide receiver ahead of a guy like Marvin Harrison, but behind Garrett Wilson and Khalil Shakir.
Tennessee is at Jacksonville. Thoughts?
Great matchup for these teams. If Tony Pollard's okay, then he's a low-end number 2 running back, and Tyjae Spears is a high-end flex. If Pollard's out, then Spears is a high-end number 2 running back. I'd go Calvin Ridley over Nick Westbrook as a boom-bust number 3 wide receiver. I would call Brian Thomas a top 5 wide receiver. You start him. Brenton Strange is behind Chigo Okonkwo. Start Chig, don't start Strange.
Who would you start Okonkwo over?
I would start him over TJ Hawkinson. I would start him over Dalton Kincaid. I would start him over Jake Ferguson and Zach Ertz.
Okay.
Tucker Kraft. And Tank Bigsby just barely over Travis Etienne, but they're flexes.
Did you say Ridley?
Boom bust number 3 wide receiver.
Miami's at Cleveland. Thoughts?
Look at the weather on this one, but HN is a must start. Jerome Ford's a good number 2 running back. Tyreek Hill is a good number 2 wide receiver. If Jameis is back, then he's a borderline top 12 QB, and Jerry Jeudy's a must-start wide receiver. If Jameis is not back, then don't start any Browns wide receivers. Jonnu's a must start, and David Njoku's top 6 as long as he plays.
All right, we're going to take a break on FFT Express. We'll answer your questions when we come back. Okay, we have a question here about A.J. Brown, or at least a comment about A.J. Brown. And just tell me, as we sit here on Thursday and no practice yet for Jalen Hurts, limited practice, or at least listed as limited for Kenny Pickett, how are you viewing A.J. Brown?
As a borderline number 2 wide receiver, right behind Tyreek Hill, who's a guy that I've kind of been lower on than everybody else here recently. He's obviously really hard to sit him because of how talented he is, but I do think that the Cowboys defense has been better the last month, and the Eagles offense could be really bad without Jalen Hurts.
Kyler or Bo Nix?
I would go Kyler. Jamie and Dave would go Bo Nix.
Start 2. Chuba Hubbard, Aaron Jones, James Cook.
I would sit Aaron Jones.
Yeah, me too. That was tough. Cortland Sutton, Jawan Jennings, a Titans running back, or Jerome Ford. We can only pick one.
I would start Jerome Ford.
That's a really over Sutton. That's a lot of
Sutton is not far behind him.
Okay. We need 2. Nice avatar there, Cousin Ernest. Keenan Allen, James Cook, Jordan Addison.
See, again, I think this is a situation where in full PPR, I would start Addison and Allen. In half or non, I would start Addison and Cook.
DJ Moore or DK Metcalf?
DJ Moore.
Charbonnet or Ford?
Zach Charbonnet is a top 5 running back in full PPR. Even in non-PPR, I would start Zach Charbonnet.
Pick 2 in non-PPR. DJ Moore, Drake London, Ramondre Stevenson, Chargers running back.
I would go London and Moore.
Pick 2. Cook, Tracy, Kamara.
If Kamara's back, then I would probably sit Tracy. I don't really think Kamara's gonna be back.
Ford, Jawan Jennings, or Ridley, PPR. I would go Jennings.
Ford.
I have Jennings and Ford on a team. I'm starting both, but I would in PPR start Jennings.
Okay.
This is like my last straw with Jennings. 1, because fantasy's over. 2, because I can't take another bad week, but I feel like he's going to bounce back. Keenan Allen or Malik Neighbors?
Neighbors.
And 1 more. Cup or Ford?
Ford.
All right. That's Heath. I'm Adam. Thanks, everybody. Good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow on FFT Express.